What's up, guys? Andrew McInnis here from WagerTalk.com, back with another NHL Every Game on the Board podcast. We're going to try and fly through this. Last week was like 17 minutes, giving out a ton of picks. This time, not as many games, a ton of picks to get to, and hopefully we can catch some winners. Before I jump into it, guys, I've got a bunch of NFL plays, NBA plays, and NHL plays going for this weekend at WagerTalk. So if anybody watching this video is interested in my best bets, my favorite plays, do not buy for one day. Do not buy one play. Use the promo code ACCESS3 to take $20 off a 3-day all-access pass. That's ACCESS3. You can see it at the bottom of your screen there. ACCESS3 takes $20 off a 3-day all-access pass. Let's jump into our first game. You guys know how it is. There's always an afternoon game when it comes to this Saturday NHL slate. This time around, we have the Anaheim Ducks and the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, look, the Ducks are fresh off a big upset over the Boston Bruins on the highway, getting it done in overtime. Leo Carlsson feeds Mason McTavish for the game winner, and Philadelphia, well, they just put up 6 goals on the Minnesota Wild. I'm liking the over 6 in this one. You know, the Ducks offense hasn't looked great to start the season off, but getting a matchup against Philadelphia, I think will be easier for them. Coming off some momentum now, feeling good about themselves after beating a big team like the Boston Bruins. I feel like this one should start the day off with a nice high-scoring over to bet on. That's our first pick, guys. Next game up, we have Seattle and Florida. Look, Florida hasn't played since Tuesday. They're very well rested. They're playing at home. And Seattle, as scrappy as they can be, as deep of a team as they really are, I think this is a spot that Florida gets it done. A well-rested Florida team coming in with a game plan, a team that has not looked nearly as shaky defensively as they did at the start of the season. They've gotten it together, and it's a team that I want to start betting on. You know, to start the year, they weren't looking good at all. But they're a team I think I want my money on right now, and I love that rest advantage for them. I'll take Florida on the money line over Seattle here on Saturday. Next game up, we have the Maple Leafs and the Nashville Predators going head-to-head. And, man, the Maple Leafs are off to a really good start to their year. I mean, putting up goals in bunches. They've got some comebacks on the season. The Nashville Predators, look, they're hanging around in games. You know, they're not blowing anybody else out, and they're not getting blown out themselves. Now, the Leafs have been on the road for, quite some time now after they started off most of their games playing at home. But as we approach this game, there's one play that stuck out to me here, and it's a player prop. Last week, I gave out 1 or 2 player props, and they went pretty well. So here's one for you. Ryan O'Reilly over 2.5 shots on goal. Former Toronto Maple Leaf. He played for the Leafs last year. When the Maple Leafs are involved in a game, it's going to be very high scoring. And they're actually giving up a decent amount of shots per game over the last few games. They're just having good goaltending from Joseph Woll and Samsonov. And their defense is playing pretty good too, but they're giving up a ton of shots. And Ryan O'Reilly is a key part of the offensive system for the Nashville Predators. I like the fact that he played with the Leafs last year. It's an angle that kind of sticks out to me. So my play for that game will be very simple. Player prop, Ryan O'Reilly over 2.5 shots on goal. Guys, really quick, I just want to say thank you to all of you that left so many nice comments last week with the Every Game on the Board podcast. Trying to bring some winners to you. Trying to give some rapid fire picks. I know I'm not diving deep into analysis on all these games, but lots of games to get to and lots of picks. So if you're enjoying this, please do me a favor, hit the like button and comment to let me know who you are betting on this Saturday NHL slate. Let's jump into the next game. We have the Red Wings. We have the Boston Bruins. I'm going to throw you guys a little bit of a curveball here. I'm going to go with the over 1.5 in the first period. Quite simply, it's a bounce back game for both teams. Detroit lost to Winnipeg. Winnipeg dominated them, in my opinion, in that game from start to finish. Detroit was kind of due for some regression, and it kind of hit them pretty hard there in that game. They also have now lost 2 straight after losing to Seattle earlier in the week. So I believe they'll be very hungry coming into this game, and that's why I like the first period over. And Boston, obviously, they're off that loss I mentioned earlier to the Anaheim Ducks. And we know this Boston Bruins team has a lot of veteran players, lots of goal scoring ability. So I think that between both clubs and the position that they're in, they're going to come firing in the first period, not waste any time. So I'll take over 1.5 goals in the first period in the Red Wings and Boston Bruins game. Next pick up, we have Ottawa and Pittsburgh. The Senators taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Penguins snapped their 3-game losing streak by defeating none other than the Colorado Avalanche. What a win that was for Pittsburgh. Riley Smith with 2 goals. Sidney Crosby gets a late one. Great game there for the Pittsburgh Penguins. But Ottawa, they're coming off that game against the Islanders, a great defensive team, a team that makes every game very slow paced, and they do a great job of doing that. But I'm going to look towards Ottawa and their team total over 3.5. Until Pittsburgh can convince me and show me they can string together a bunch of great games in a row, I can't really believe they're going to play well defensively like they did against Colorado. Shabbat is out for Ottawa, but doesn't really affect them as much offensively, of course, as it does defensively. You still got a ton of great players offensively there for Ottawa. They're a great team, and they show up for these big games like the ones against teams like Pittsburgh with star players like Malkin and Crosby and players like that. So I do lean to the full game over, but we're going to isolate this Senators team total over. They've practically hit this in every single game so far besides their previous game, and I believe they'll bounce back with plenty of goals in the net this time around on Saturday against the Pittsburgh Penguins. I mentioned the Islanders briefly. That's who Senators played last time around. Well, they're playing the Jackets, and well, because 5.5s aren't really there anymore for totals, we're seeing some 6s now involving the New York Islanders. And when I see a 6 involving the New York Islanders, I try and find reasons to, why I shouldn't bet the under here. And I couldn't find many. I mean, Columbus, sure, they've been involved in some higher scoring games, but for the most part, their identity is wearing you down, playing defensive hockey, and they have a great goaltender. They actually have a good blue line, and that's how they're going to play. Sure, Patrick Laine is great. Sure, they've got Goudreau. They've got some guys, Jack Roslovich. They've got Adam Fantilli. They have some players, but I still think the true identity of both the Islanders and the Blue Jackets is playing defensive hockey. Give me the under 6, New York and Columbus here on Saturday. Let's keep the under train going when it comes to the Winnipeg Jets and the Montreal Canadiens. Both teams have been getting some stellar goaltending. Hellebuck has gotten the net for most games for Winnipeg. As far as Montreal, it's either Jake Allen or Samuel Montembeault. I believe we will see Jake Allen. He's coming off a great game for the Montreal Canadiens, and I will take him to have another great one and keep things low scoring. I think the Montreal Canadiens are in tough in that game, but I do think that we will see it be a little bit lower scoring, some strong defensive play, and one of those ones where the first team to 3 wins the hockey game. Rangers Canucks. Guys, last Saturday, if you tuned in, we cashed a winner on the underdog, the Vancouver Canucks, and we're going to do it again. This is a Rangers team that has strung together some good performances, back-to-back solid wins for them against the Oilers and the Calgary Flames, the Alberta double, as my co-host Carmine Bianco likes to call it. And I believe they'll be in for a little bit of a letdown spot here as they take on Vancouver. And Vancouver giving us a nice plus price again on Saturday as an underdog, and I'll look for them to capitalize on it and make us some money. Now let's end things off, the last game of the night, with an over. We've got Vegas, we've got LA, and we have Vegas obviously playing on Friday. The Los Angeles Kings waiting for them at home. Vegas, when they play weaker opponents, they tend to go under. But when they play other strong opponents, their games go over. They trade goals. They play very fast hockey. And between the LA Kings and the Vegas Golden Knights, 2 great power plays. If they get into the rough stuff, if there's lots of penalties, I do expect that to equate to lots of power play goals and lots of pucks piling into the net. So I'll take over 6 in that one. I know we have 2 good goaltenders, but I'm kind of shocked we're not seeing a 6.5 there. So let's end the night off with a bang and take the over 6 Vegas Golden Knights and the Los Angeles Kings. Reminder, guys, if you're interested in my best bets, and I do have 2 that will be in that best bet category tomorrow on Saturday, I'll be looking at a couple games as well for total plays and sides, but use that promo code ACCESS3. Take $20 off a 3-day all access pass. Thank you so much for watching. Please, on the way out, hit the like button. Have a good weekend, guys, and best of luck.